All right, so you're thinking about starting a mobile detailing business and you want to make $1,000 a week or start off making $1,000 a week and staying booked up. I'm gonna give you the 4 keys up front. If you want to hear me talk for the rest of this video, because I can be long-winded, sometimes I get off track, listen to it. I'm gonna give you all the game that I learned and struggled through. But up front, if that's all you want, is the 4 steps that I followed. 1, make sure you're dedicated and you really want to do this. 2, make sure you got the skill and the knowledge to actually detail a car. Learn those skills. I put that before the equipment, because if you have all the greatest equipment and don't know how to use it, you're gonna suck at the job. So 3, the equipment. Make sure you get the proper equipment to match your skill set. And number 4, the part where you actually start getting customers, Google Ads. There it is. 4 steps. Now, I'm gonna explain a little bit more about each one, but those are the 4 steps. The Google ad was the key for me. And of course, you gotta have a Google My Business set up, a website, Google reviews. A lot of stuff goes into that. But once you do the groundwork, get all your stuff together, and you're dedicated to this, set up the Google ad, you'll be good to go. So, if you're watching this video, you're probably a detailer or thinking about getting into detailing and wondering where, how, the best way to start, if it's gonna work, what can you expect, how much equipment do you need to buy, what equipment do you need to buy, how much you need to spend, and probably most importantly, how much you're gonna make. Is this gonna work? Can you do a part-time and make money? Can you do a full-time and make money? Well, I'm gonna try my best to explain what I've experienced in the about 6 months that I've been doing it full-time. So it started off with me doing this part-time. When I had a full-time job, I would do this like on the weekends or the evenings when I had time. And then I decided to quit a 6-figure job to do it full-time. So first 4 months, really slow, but I also started in October. So starting in the fall and wintertime for mobile detailing, probably not the smartest thing to do. But I had enough savings. It gave me time to kind of like build up my experience and kind of figure out what I needed to know as we get to this point. So it's springtime now and it's completely different. So I'm gonna go over 4 topics that you really need to know or get comfortable with if you're considering getting into mobile detailing, whether it's part-time, full-time, or whatever it might be. Yeah, we're in my kitchen. I'm prepping stuff. I'm getting ready to wash my car. Because I actually don't have any clients this afternoon, it's perfect time. We'll be back down in the garage. All right, so we're back. There's 4 things that I'm gonna discuss that you really need to put in your head if you're gonna go full-time with mobile detailing. 1, are you dedicated enough to do this? Is this something that you can wake up and do every day as a full-time job? Number 2, your techniques. I'm putting technique before equipment just because you can have the best equipment in the world and have no idea how to use it. It all comes down to technique. To do really good detailing work, you gotta know what you're doing. It doesn't matter what equipment you have. Then number 3 is the equipment. You know, sometimes you can't skimp on certain things. Sometimes it's not as important. And number 4, marketing. This is how you're gonna make that first $1,000 a week, move up to $1,500, $2,000 possibly a week, or whatever works in your situation. But this is what's worked for me in a relatively short time to start making, on average, $1,000 a week. And actually, I'm a little bit above that for this week. So we're gonna get into that after I finish getting set up. All right, so yeah, I mentioned dedication. Can you do this every day? Can you deal with angry customers? Can you deal with people with unrealistic expectations? Can you set realistic expectations? Can you set goals? Can you set benchmarks and reach them? Stretching out my hose. Is this something you can do on a regular basis? Can you deal with rejection? Can you deal with timelines, planning, the business aspect of it? Are you good with just everything you're gonna have to deal with. Stuff that you've probably never thought about before. What happens when people lie to you? What happens when there's a billing issue? Stuff like that. Can you forecast what is gonna be needed mentally, physically, emotionally to actually run your own business and not mess it up? So that's number one, just not quitting, staying with it. It's not gonna take off in the first week, first month, maybe not even the first year. Are you gonna be able to deal with that? And then number two, are you any good at it? Can you actually detail cars? Are you gonna get better? Are you gonna go to a school? Are you gonna take classes? Are you gonna watch YouTube? Are you gonna practice? Are you gonna do stuff for free? How are you gonna get better at detailing? And it's all about your techniques. The products, yeah, some products, some equipment make things, a little easier. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's not gonna do any good for you or your potential customers. So, your techniques. What are you gonna do to work on your techniques? Me personally, I was fairly good, at least I thought when I started, but I was used to detailing my cars, my family's cars, friends' cars, people who keep up with the cars pretty well. Like my car, my M4, has not been detailed or cleaned or washed in probably 6 weeks. Yeah. Probably hard to believe, but it's not the cleanest, but far from the dirtiest. Rarely are you ever going to get a call to detail a clean car. So, my experience was touching up, maintenance washing. What happens when you got to bring a car back to life from like the grave? A car that sat for a year or two, a car that has mold in it, a car that has tree sap, stuff like that. Cars that aren't garage kept. People aren't calling you to detail easy jobs. So, work on your technique. You're gonna have to get out there, practice on some really bad vehicles. Maybe offer some pro bono work, some free work to people just to get that experience. Or just partner up with your friends and family. Partner up with another detailer. Me, it was just kind of trial and error. I thought I detailed like really bad cars. Yeah, I started partnering with people like, hey, you run a marketing firm, or you have a really popular Facebook page that, outlays community-based businesses. Well, I'll offer you a detail if you feature me on your page, stuff like that. And some of those cars I did, a job for a job, favor for a favor. Horrible, man, horrible. But I learned a lot of lessons that way. But once I actually started getting real customers, like on a daily basis, that's when I really learned. You start to learn mom cars, minivans, soccer moms, the pet parents. Those type of messes are a different world, man, a different world. Guys, I live close to the airport, sorry. But yeah, those type of messes, different world. So you really, the more experience, the better your techniques will get. So 3, your equipment. So I'll do a quick rundown of my equipment, but we're gonna go over like the bare minimums I think you need to be a mobile detailer, and that starts with the vehicle. So let's flip this around and I'll show you what I'm working with. All right, so this is a 2016, 2017 Chevy Equinox. As you can see, everything fits in there, but barely. Got the seats folded down. That's only a 35-gallon tank. So outside of your vehicle, your water tank. Do you need a water tank? That's also a question that's gonna pop up. Yes and no. Sometimes I have clients that don't have access to water, that live in an apartment complex. If you don't want to take apartment complex clients, that's fine. But I want to say that's probably a quarter of my business is apartment complexes, and this works. So 35-gallon tank, is 35 gallons enough? How many cars can I do with 35 gallons? Surprisingly, I can do 2 cars with 35 gallons. Cars, not trucks, not SUVs. I did an F-150 yesterday. That was a farm truck that needed a lot of rinsing, and I sprayed it down twice with the foam, and that got me down to between 10 and 15 gallons. This is full right now at 35, and it's at a little bit of an angle. And that was enough to do that. Now, if it was 2 small cars, like if I was doing 2 coupes, I can get that done with 35 gallons. But that also goes into the next thing you'll need, pressure washer. So this one, I believe, is 1.3 gallons per minute, 2,200 PSI, about $300 from Home Depot. And this is my second pressure washer because, see over here, I had an electric one because I wanted to keep things small and compact. As you can see, this is 1.2 gallons per minute, 1,700 PSI. Problem is, that wasn't a true 1,700 PSI. I mean, it's a good kit for like at-home stuff, but it wasn't gonna last and live up to daily abuse, like what you would want to put it through. I would do 1 car and be making some really weird smells, and it just couldn't keep up, and it just didn't have the power. So I don't know if it was part of my generator or inverter, or it just wasn't strong enough. So I just said, forget it, I'll go to a gas-powered one. I was trying to keep the noise down, I was trying to keep size down, but this is a much more reliable option, even though it is louder. So that's the tank, that's the pressure washer, and pressure washer options. So we'll go to my inverter now. So that's my Caterpillar 2000 watt inverter. I'm not gonna pull it out right now, but it's plenty strong, it's quiet, it has a low idle mode or smart idle mode to where it only revs up when something is using it, i.e. my vac. It's another item you're gonna really gonna have to have. So the Rigid 5 horsepower, 4 gallon shop vac. This is like the pinnacle of startup vacuums. I think it's about $100. You can get it at Home Depot or Amazon, and then spend the $30 on the detailing kit, which comes with this orange hose, I believe, and a bunch of other accessories that you'll need. It comes with a crevice tool that's actually flexible. That comes in handy, and it comes with a couple other brush attachments. And these angled brush heads are really good. It loosens up the dirt while you're in a car, as well as like really getting into corners. Like you didn't think about it until you saw it, or until I told you. So those are your main items that you're really gonna need. The way I have everything routed in here, I could actually feed my pressure washer off of just gravity alone, but I didn't want it to struggle or miss a beat, so I did get a pump. So the pump is gravity fed, and that plugs in to the inverter. And once that's on, it's feeding pressure washer. And we're actually getting ready to do that now. All right, so my car has been pre-rinsed, foamed, washed with a mitt, and rinsed. I'm gonna show you how much water I use. Granted, my car is ceramic coated. I kind of cheated. Normally, I use my tank to fill up at least 1, if not 2, 5-gallon buckets. If I don't do it before I leave the house, I use that tank to fill it up. I didn't have to do that with my car. I gotta process with this, especially since it's coated. But I'm gonna show you how much water that took that quick on this car. So we started at 35, right? I'm at about 26. Let's say 26, 27. So, yeah, washing my car, and I wasn't trying to save water or anything. I was actually using more than I normally would. Let's just call it 10 gallons. 10 gallons of water. But again, that's a clean car. I didn't have to spray mud off. It's a coupe. It's not big at all. So, do you need a 100-gallon tank? No. Not unless you're trying to do 3 cars, 4 trucks in a day. Like my neighbors back there. I don't know if we can get that in focus. They detail semi-trucks. They need a 100, 200-gallon tank, and that's what they got back there in both of their vans. So I did share some knowledge with them, and they shared some stuff with me. But as far as equipment goes, I know I kind of breezed over it, but those are the big items. Like, of course, you're gonna need wash mitts. You're gonna need microfiber cloths and towels and drying towels and all the chemicals and stuff. Pick whatever soap that you want to use. You don't have to buy a super expensive soap. So what I use today, Chemical Guys Black Light. Focus. There it is. It's used for black cars, dark cars. I like it because, as you see, it makes shaving cream suds, but it's expensive. That's a half a gallon. That cost me $32. But it works really well on dark colored cars. And I'm sitting here talking to you as my car is still drying. One, because it's coated, and you can see how it beads up. But with that soap, it also does a great job of preventing water spots. So that's why I use it. Spend money on it, but you can get away with Gold Class too. That's one of the best soaps out there, and it's cheap, really cheap, and a little bit goes a long way. But yeah, all your little chemicals, and that's what's in this little bag right here: chemicals and brushes. And I got towels down there that are clean. I got towels over there that are dirty, that need to get washed. But yeah, just my nasty bag of stuff. And it's nasty because I had a job earlier today, had a migraine, so I just threw stuff in there and left after I was done because I was not dealing with cleaning everything up and organizing it. I had time tomorrow and I'll organize, but a good foam cannon, you don't have to go in crazy. I mean, you can get all your stuff from Chemical Guys, relatively cheap. Go that route, but those are the big items. If you're gonna be mobile, I recommend having a tank because not everybody's gonna have a hose. Have a couple of extra hoses with you, including your high pressure line that's gonna go from your pressure washer to your gun, cannon, whatever you're using. And of course a vacuum. If you wanna go with a big generator, that's fine. They're much cheaper. That inverter was $900 and something bucks. You can catch them on sale for maybe $7 for a 2,000 watt one. And that's pretty much the 18 to 2,000 watts, 1,800 to 2,000 watts. It's probably the smallest you're gonna wanna go. So just make sure that you get those bare minimums, of course the vacuum. Other than that, you don't need a whole lot. And some people might say you can get away without a pressure washer, which you can, but you're gonna run into a problem, and it's called time. I mean, 2-bucket method, you're still gonna have to get water from somewhere. You're still gonna have to find a way to rinse. I've seen people do it. It just takes too much time. And even with my setup, I take too much time on vehicles. Like, I can do my car 45 minutes. Outside, that is. But my car is clean. When I'm on a job with a client's car, sometimes it takes me 2 hours just to do the outside, just because I'm that particular about it, or it needs that much work, or I'm breaking out brushes to get in the grills, to get all that stuff. I'm pre-treating the wheels. My wheels are ceramic coated. I didn't even touch these wheels. All I did was spray foam on them and rinse them. I'll show you what they do. Those weren't scrubbed. They weren't touched. They haven't been touched in like 2 months. So I don't have to really do much to this. Every car is not going to be this clean. No car is going to be that clean. But, those are the things that I recommend getting. I got the leaf blower in there to like blow dry cars, but what I tend to do is dry it with a towel, a large microfiber towel, or the super absorber towel. Kind of feels like a foam thing. I forgot what it's called. I think it's like the Absorber XL. But I tend to dry the cars with that, and then I pull out the leaf blower to get stuff out of the cracks, the gas cap area, windows behind mirrors. Like, I blow those areas out, door jams, stuff like that. You don't need that. You really don't. So as far as equipment, bare minimum for what you need in your arsenal to accomplish your level of skill. I have a polisher in there, a DA polisher. I do a little bit of paint correction. I'm not the greatest at it, but what I do offer my customers, they appreciate. And that's what you start with. You start with what you can offer at your skill level, and then you build up from there. I have a lot of other things. You're gonna need a lot of extension cords, towels. I bring trash bags with me. I got foam sprayers or pump sprayers. You're gonna need a lot of little spray bottles to put all your materials in, because I buy stuff by the gallon. A lot of my stuff is inside the vehicle now, but I have to refill all my little spray bottles. And usually that whole rack is full. But I've been busy, so I've used a lot of stuff. You notice I don't have a steamer or an extractor. So how do I do interior carpet cleaning? How do I do, seat cleaning, cloth cleaning? Works great. Now, it's not the fastest, so that's where the trade-off is. A drill and a drill brush, it gets it done. And, I soak the seats down with whatever technique I'm using. I'm not gonna give you techniques because, sorry, battery died. I need to get better at this part of the job, but I can detail, don't worry about that. So, I went ahead and dried the car and then went and swapped my battery. But yeah, your equipment needs to match your level of talent and skill and know-how. Now that you're ready to start taking customers, how do you get them? Are you out there passing out business cards in parking lots? Like, that's what I hear a lot of detailers say. They started, just putting their cards on cars in parking lots. That's not marketing. That's not acquiring clients. That's praying. That's begging. That's hoping. That's not how you do it. Get smart. Find some type of social platform and go all in on it. If you really want to make sure you secure business and grow a following, this is how you do it. Create an ad. Google Ads. You find out what's working. When you set up your Google ad, it'll let you know what the recommended spend is or monthly budget. So when I did mine, before I did my Google ad, people would find me word of mouth, which is the best type of advertising. But I'd get 1 or 2 calls a week. I set up my Google ad for a monthly budget of $150, and instantly the next day, 3 bookings. So, and I set it up to call me, get more calls, not website traffic or anything like that. It gives you the options. I up my budget the next week to $300. I get 3 to 4 calls in the Charlotte area a day. And your conversion rate on that is going to depend on how you write your ad, your pricing, your competitors, and how much they spend. So Google recommended the minimum spend in my area to, be on pace with my competitors that have ads was $250. So I went $300. Plus, every once in a while, Google will give you some discounts and coupons. So I got a $100 credit for a Google ad. So literally just from that, if I get 3 to 4 calls a day, usually 2 of those people are going to say, hey, I'll call you back. Or one to say, hey, I'll call you back. Or actually, this isn't going to work for me. Either I'm too high, or I will tell them straight up if they want me to do something that I can't do, or I set the expectation and they don't like that, so be it. But then out of those 4, the other 2 book. So I've been running my Google ad for 2 weeks now. Since I've started, I have had 2 weeks. I've had 13 new clients from Google. Plus, while I'm on the job, contractors, their neighbors, their friends. Hey, give me a couple of extra cards so I can give this to my brother-in-law, my sister, my mom needs her car detailed. People stop. Every single job I go to, people stop. Hey, are you a detailer? Well, yes, I am. You got any cards? Of course I do. So from that, I've had an additional 5 clients in the last 2 weeks from people that have stopped me while I was doing other jobs. Google ads. They tell me all the time, like, yeah, I just Googled mobile detailing and you were number 1. Well, I paid to be number 1. I did not take the time to do SEO optimization, search engine optimization. That's another route you can go. But if you just want to get clients, get attention, get people on your website or calling you, Google ads. Set up the Google ad. You're gonna have to spend some money, but literally, even if you're a cheap detailer, 3 clients will pay for that $300. I hope you're charging at least $100 to do an interior and exterior. You're a $50 detailer. I can't do it. I can't do it for 50. I can't do it for 100 either. My prices are very fair, but that's something else you're gonna have to learn too, how to set your prices for your market and your level of skill. I will not sell myself short, and that comes down to the dedication and belief in yourself that you can do this. So, pretty much, you want to make $1,000 a week. On average, that's easy. I've made $1,000 in the last 4 days. Let me rephrase that. I've made $1,000 in the last 3 clients. One was an interior and exterior on a Porsche, 718 Cayman. Not a big car, not charging a lot for that. And then 2 interior jobs. Made $1,000 off of that with the pricing that I'm charging. And all of those came from Google. All of them came from Google. So, if you want to start making money detailing, 1, make sure you're ready to do this. Make sure you're dedicated. 2, make sure you have the technique, talent, and skill set to do this. 3, get the equipment together that is going to support your talent and your skill set. And 4, Google ads. Set up a Google ad or set up a budget, and you can run several different ads off of that budget. And as long as you write your ad the right way, people are going to call. I got 2 clients tomorrow. It's going to be raining 2 days this week. I'm not going to work Friday and Saturday. I got some friends and family things to do. And then I have a car Sunday that'll put me, should be about $1,700 for this week. 2 weeks running the Google ad. Get to it. Peace.